Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to make a backpack out of a pair of jeans. So if you're looking for a back to school backpack, it's a super easy sewing project. If you're new to sewing, you should have no problem following the easy step-by-step tutorial. With all that being said, grab a pair of jeans and let's get started. For this project, you'll need one pair of pants, and you can use any style of pants. I'm going to be using jeans because I want the denim backpack, but you can switch it up and use corduroy, canvas, or twill pants. The size of the pants is really going to make the biggest change, so if you're using a larger size, it's going to have a larger opening, and you're also going to have more material to work with. But anyways, moving on to construction, the first thing we're going to do is measure about 4 to 5 inches down from the center seam, and cut off the pant legs at that point. We will be utilizing the pant leg material for pockets and a flap in future steps, but for the moment, we can place it off to the side. Next, we're going to dethread the inseam, and I recommend dethreading it instead of cutting it because we're trying to keep that seam intact as possible. Then we're going to move to the center seam and dethread up to the bottom of the fly. Try not to go too high because you don't want to unravel the full seam. Flip the pants around to the back side, and we're going to continue to dethread the center seam up to the center of the pockets. The main goal is to dethread the curved area so that way when you overlap the panels, it's going to sit flat. If the panels are not sitting flat, then you're going to want to dethread a little bit higher. If everything is looking good and the panels are sitting flat, we're going to take the bottom raw edge, roll it over, and pin it down. This will end up giving you a nice clean edge on the outside of the bag. When it comes to sewing, we're going to stitch directly in the old stitch paths for the top and then right along the edge for the bottom. Flip the pants back around to the front, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to overlap the panels so there's a small gap at the bottom. This side is a little bit trickier to work with because the curve is more harsh, but just pull it as much as possible and pin it down. And from here, we're going to stitch directly on the old stitch paths. And what I like to do is match the thread color to the thread color that's on the pants so that way it blends in perfectly. You might not be able to find the exact color, but as long as it's close, it's gonna look good. And at this point, you can see that both sides are sitting nice and flat, giving us a perfect foundation to start making the backpack. And the great thing about it is that half the backpack is already constructed for us. Flip the wrong sides out, and the next thing we're going to do is straighten up the edges. As you can see, they kind of angle outwards. So what we're going to do is start at the bottom of the pocket and do a stitch straight down, cutting off that angle. This may be different based on the style of pants you're using, so I recommend starting out small and kind of tapering it inward. And you can only do so much without sewing into the pocket, so just a little bit of correction really goes a long ways. Move to the bottom opening, grab a pair of scissors, and we're going to trim the back panel flush with the front panel. Flip the right sides out, and this is pretty much going to be the size of the backpack. So if you want to make it a little bit shorter, you can trim up from the bottom opening. But for the moment, we don't need this section, so we can place it off to the side and grab one of our pant legs. And the best way to utilize all this material is cutting the seam that's opposite of the seam with the top stitching. If both your seams have top stitching, then you can cut either one. And I'm just cutting directly down the center of the seam. Open up the pant leg, and as you can see, we have a lot of material here we can work with. For this next step, we're going to be adding a pocket on the front. There's a lot of different ways you can do this, different shapes you can make. I'm going to be doing a basic fold pocket, and I'll be utilizing the stitching on the pant leg for the top of the pocket. You have a good amount of material to work with, so you can make this pocket as big as you would like. I like to lay it out on the bag foundation just to get an idea of how big to make it, and from there, I cut the pant leg to the size. The remainder we can put off to the side because we will be using that for a flap. The pocket portion we're going to fold in half with right sides together. Since these are pant legs, it may sit a little bit crooked, so you have to adjust it so that top seam is straight, and then we're going to stitch both side edges at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. After stitching, flip the right sides out, grab the top section of the pants, and what we're going to do is place it where we want the pocket to sit. Mine is going in the center right along the bottom edge. And if you're doing it this way too, you're going to want material hanging off the bottom edge because that will be sewn into the bottom in later steps. So play around with the height and find the best placement for you. When it comes to sewing it down, we're only stitching it to the front side, so place a few pins and stitch just the side edges right along the edge. After finishing up the stitch, you can trim the bottom of the pocket flush with the bottom edge. Moving on to the next step, we're going to create a bottom panel for the bottom opening. You can actually sew it straight together, but I want to make it a little bit bigger with more depth. And the best way to do that is to make a bottom panel. I'll be using the second pant leg for this step, and I'll be cutting it to the width I want the panel to be. So pretty much the wider you go, the bigger the bag will be. And we'll be cutting at the top section of the pant leg because once we open it up, it's going to be long enough to fit the width of the bag. Cut down the side seam and open up the panel. Before going any further, you're going to want to place the panel on the opening and just check to see if it's going to be large enough. Luckily, the panel is big enough, but we're going to have to trim the outside edges to match the circumference. I like to start by rounding out the corners and then kind of going back and forth until I get the correct size. This is a step you'll kind of have to play around with because everyone's bottom opening is going to be a little bit different circumference, so you'll have to figure out your size. Now that we have the basic shape for our bottom panel, we're going to be cutting a lining. This next step is optional. If you don't want to add a lining, you can skip ahead. I cut 2 top panels and 1 bottom panel out of a lightweight twill. When it comes to cutting the top panel, all you have to do is place the top section of the pants on your fabric and cut around the outside edge. Just be sure to leave enough seam allowance on the side so when you sew it together, it's going to match the top opening. And like I said, the lining is not mandatory because the inside of the pants is completely finished, so you don't need to put a lining on the inside. I just wanted to show you how to do it and take it one step further to make a really professional finished bag. We're going to quickly finish off the lining so we can move the main panels off to the side, lay out the top panels with right sides together, and stitch the side edges at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. After finishing up the stitch, we're going to grab the top section of the pants and we're quickly going to check to see if the top openings line up. The easiest way to do this is to place the lining inside the pants and see if that top edge lines up. If it does not match perfectly, then you're going to have to take the lining out and make adjustments to those side seams. And more than likely this means taking that stitch in a little bit more on the sides, or you can just kind of taper it in at the top. But anyways, moving on, we're going to grab the bottom panel and sew it to the bottom opening of the top panel. Place the right sides together, lining up the centers, and if it's not fully trimmed to the right size, you can kind of sew it and trim it as you go. So pin it into place and stitch all the way around that outside edge at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Once you finished up the stitch, the lining is complete. You can add pockets to the inside of the lining if you want pockets on the inside of the bag. You can add them using the extra material from the pants or the lining material. But at the moment, we don't need the lining, so we can place it off to the side and grab the top section of the pants. Again, this step is optional. We'll be adding a flap at the top. I'll be using the remainder of the pant leg because I want to use the side seam in the center of the flap and then the hem at the bottom. The flap can also be customized in a lot of different ways. You can change up the height and you can also change up the width. So you can kind of play around with it and see what looks best with the pants you're using. I don't want to cover up the entire front of the bag, so I'm going to cut mine a little bit shorter. I also don't want it this wide, so I'm going to fold the sides in and mark where I want to cut. So with the basic measurements marked out, I'm going to trim the width, grab the second pant leg, and cut it to the same size as my flap panel. And you can just use one of the pant legs for the flap, but I wanted to double up the fabric to make it thicker, so I'm going to place the right sides together and stitch the side edges at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. After finishing up the stitch, we're going to flip the right sides out and push out those sides so the top and bottom layers are lined up perfectly. Then we're going to add a top stitch along the sides, the bottom, and back up the opposite side. If you are sewing on the hem, it can be very thick, so take your time and use a heavyweight needle. And just like that, our flap is complete. We're going to be waiting till the end to add the snaps and everything else. But if you want to take another step further, you can add pockets or embroider at this stage while it's not connected to the bag. But I'm going to leave it as is, and for the moment we can place it off to the side. Grab the top section, flip the wrong sides out, and we're going to move to the bottom side seams. In this step, we'll be adding D-rings along the bottom so we can connect the straps in future steps. Measure up 2 inches from the bottom and dethread a 1.5 inch opening. If you're using larger webbing or strap, you're going to want to make the opening bigger. I'm using 1.5 inch width webbing, so I'm making my openings 1.5 inch width, and we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side, lined up perfectly. Cut 4 to 5 inch strips of webbing or strap, place your D-rings on the webbing or strap, fold the webbing in half with the D-rings in the center, then we're going to place that directly through the opening. Make sure to leave a 1/2 to 1 inch of strap hanging past the seam allowance. You want enough webbing end on the inside so you can stitch back and forth over it a few times so it doesn't rip out once you hook up the straps. Then go ahead and do the same thing for the opposite side. Pin everything into place and stitch directly back over the old stitch path. Remember to go back and forth a few times to really lock that webbing into place. After finishing up the stitch, look at the D-rings from the inside, pull on them a little bit, and make sure they're really locked into place. The last thing you want is for one of these to rip out when you have a lot of weight inside the bag. You also want to make sure they're lined up perfectly or else the bag's going to be a little bit wonky once it's sitting on your bag. But anyways, moving on to the next step, we're going to grab the bottom panel and sew it onto the bottom opening. Just like we did with the lining, we're going to place the right sides together, lining up the centers, and stitch all the way around the outside edge at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Just like with the lining, you can kind of sew it and trim it as you go. After finishing up the stitch, double check, make sure all those layers got stitched together. I like to flip the right sides out and check it from the right side as well. If everything is looking good, we can grab the flap panel and start to figure out how tall we want the flap to be. I didn't adjust the height in the previous step just because I wanted to have a little bit of room to play with, but once you found that sweet spot, we're going to trim it to size. Place the right side on the inside of the back panel, lining it up with the bottom edge of the waistband. Grab 2 1.5 yard strips of webbing, and I cut mine this long because you can always trim it back after you attach it. You don't want to attach it and it's too short, so I recommend going a little bit longer because you can always trim it back. Before we attach the straps, we're going to cut one more 10-inch strip. This is optional. We'll be folding it in half, placing it in the center, and using it as a bag hook. Then we're going to place the straps directly in front of the bag hook. And you want these straps to be about 2 to 4 inches spaced apart, as close as you can to the center. Pin all the layers together, including the flap and the straps. Grab the lining and we're going to place it on the inside of the bag with the wrong sides together. This next step can get a little bit tricky, so I recommend using a lot of pins. And what we're going to do is fold that top edge over so the right sides are together on the inside of the waistband. And you want to continue to roll that edge over and line it up with the top of the waistband all the way around that outside edge. And by doing this, it's going to give you a nice clean edge at the top of the bag. I will say the more pins you use, the easier it is to sew. When it comes to sewing, you want the flap and the straps folded up out of the way, and then you're going to stitch all the way around the top edge of the waistband. I like to try to sew directly on top of that stitch that's already there, so that way my stitch blends in and you don't really notice it. Take your time and try to make it as neat as possible because you don't want that lining to be shifting around as you're stitching. Just like with the bottom D-ring stitches, you can also do a little bit more tack stitching up top so those webbing straps are really locked down. For the next step, we're going to be finishing off the strap, so the hardware you'll need are 2 strap adjusters and 2 lobster clasps. Start with the strap adjuster and slide it down about 1 to 2 feet. Next, slide on the lobster clasp, and we're going to take that webbing end and feed it back through the strap adjuster from the back opening to the front opening from the bottom. Pull the webbing end out of the second opening about 2 to 4 inches, then we're going to roll that end over once and pin it down. And just like that, you have an adjustable strap. Before we add our stitch, we're going to do the same thing for the second strap. Add the strap slider, the lobster clasp, feed the webbing through the strap slider, fold it down, add a pin, and from here we can tack stitch both ends down. And I recommend going back and forth a few times to really secure those ends down. After stitching, it's best to try it on. If the straps are way too big, you can always trim them back a little bit and do the exact same steps. But you should have enough adjustment within the strap to adjust them to your size. Flip the bag back around to the front side, and we're going to add the drawstring to close up the opening. There's a few different ways you can do this. You can just use drawstring and go through the existing belt loops. That's probably the simplest and easiest way to do it, but the gaps are pretty long, so the drawstring is going to kind of pull inward. So the second method is to actually cut into one layer of the waistband because that waistband is hollow and it's a tube, so you can cut a hole, feed the drawstring all the way around to the opposite side, cut a second hole. But with that technique, we're not going to see the drawstring, and I want to see the drawstring at the top of the bag, so what I'm going to do is add eyelets. I'll be using 1/2 inch eyelets. They're on the bigger side, but I want the look of a bigger eyelet because I'm using bigger cord, and this kit comes with everything I need to punch my holes and install them. The first thing you want to do is figure out your placement, and when it comes to the placement, if you place one on one side of the pants, you want to place one on the exact opposite side. So after figuring out the placement, grab the punch and punch out the openings. If you're using a punch, all you have to do is line it up with your mark and hammer it down. But since I can't use this punch on the table, I'm going to grab a pair of scissors and cut out my openings. You just want to make sure you cut your openings to the size of the eyelets you're using. Place the right side of the eyelet through the opening from the right side, the backing on the back, and using a hammer down, we're going to place the base on the right side and secure it down by hammering it from the back. You can also use more efficient techniques like pliers or a press. Then go ahead and repeat the step for the rest of your eyelets. Remember, you want to space these out equally on both sides. Grab your cord or drawstring and feed it through the eyelets. And I'm simply just going back and forth from the inside of the bag to the outside of the bag. You want it to end up so your drawstring is coming out of the bag through the front 2 eyelets. This will give you the ability to grab the cord and cinch it shut. Depending on the size cord you're using, you can also use cord stoppers to hold it closed. This next step is optional. We're going to be adding a magnetic snap up front so that flap can stay closed. And I'll be using just the standard magnetic purse closures. You can actually push these through the entire flap, but I left a small gap just because the side seams were a little bit too thick to sew over with that machine. But anyways, cut your opening for the magnetic snap, feed the bottom section through, add the top section, and hammer it into place. I don't have the correct tools, I just use a hammer and it secures them down perfectly. I do recommend using the hammer die for this specific magnetic snap so you don't bend the closure. Then we're going to pull the flap down, see where it falls to install the second half. Depending on the height of your flap, you should be able to install it directly on the fly. But before you install it, you should put a lot of items in the bag, the items you're going to be using, so that way the flap is at the position it will be once there's items in the bag. Just because that flap might sit a little bit lower when the bag is empty. But once you found the correct spot, we're going to install it the same way. Cut your opening, feed the snap through the opening, add the back, and hammer it down. Like I said, these snaps are pretty basic. You could get more complex snaps that really brings out a different character in your bag. And for the final step, you're going to add your branding. I use leather strips that I installed with double-sided rivets. You can also use woven tags, embroidery, or even screen printing. You may have wondered why I didn't utilize the pockets on the back of the pants. I actually wanted to keep these here as back pockets, but you can also remove these and put these up front. I did consider adding them to the flap, but in the end, I liked the way it turned out, and I didn't really need to make that adjustment. Fun thing about this, all pants have different styles of seams and different looks, so you're always going to get a different bag in the end. So have some fun with it, get creative, and make the bag unique to your style. And there you have it, your new denim backpack is complete. Hopefully yours turned out as good as mine and you picked up a few skills within the video that you can use in other sewing projects. Like always, I want to see what you come up with, so tag me on Instagram at Proper Fit Clothing, and until then, I'm going to keep the videos coming at you, so I'll see you next time.